Major victory against China. I read this story. I could hardly believe my eyes. It sounds like something I'm making up, but listen to this. Attorney General Andrew Bailey won a lawsuit against China claiming they hoarded PPE during the pandemic, and China was ordered to pay $24.5 billion. Chinese officials said they don't recognize the ruling and called the lawsuit absurd when it was filed back in 2020. Now Bailey says he's preparing to seize Chinese assets in the state to get the money, and the assets include that farmland we've talked about a lot here on American Sunrise. For more, let's bring in the man himself, Missouri State Attorney General Andrew Bailey. General, this is a fascinating story. You had to know when this lawsuit started that China wasn't going to go, oh, okay, well, here's your billions of dollars in this judgment against us, right? They weren't going to do that. So you all proceeded to do what, and where is the status of your action against China?
Well, this is an historic win on behalf of the people of the state of Missouri, and really is a blueprint for other states to follow to hold China accountable for the wrongs they perpetrated during the COVID-19 pandemic, for which Missourians still demand justice. This suit was filed because China created the virus, unleashed it on the world, lied to the world about it, thus inhibiting our ability to respond to the virus, and then produced and hoarded the necessary medical equipment that we needed to respond to the virus. And it harmed Missourians to the tune of $24 billion. We filed the lawsuit, and the trial court dismissed it. We fought that all. The Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals and recently won the trial in January of this year and got that $24 billion judgment. And again, this is historic, and we plan to execute on that judgment and collect that money from China one way or the other.
And so you're going through, I'm sure, a series of processes figuring out how you can collect this farmland that has been purchased near military bases and in other very, very ominous places, right? And so the state of Missouri is taking this action. Are you hearing from other states? I know when my husband was a senator there in Missouri, there was a lot of communication, and other states would take up legislation similar. So are you hearing from other states who want to emulate what is really groundbreaking in terms of an action against China?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been in contact with other states. And again, this is a great blueprint for other states to follow. These claims were raised under the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act. This is a statute that Congress passed and then President Gerald Ford signed into law in 1976. So it's been on the books for a long time, and it explicitly provides a method by which states can redress grievances against foreign entities, and an explicit procedure by which judgments can be executed by identifying and seizing assets and having those foreign assets sold to make good on the judgment. Again, this is a long-standing law that's been on the books, and China does a lot of business in the United States of America. And when they do that, and when they own property in the United States of America, they subject themselves to the laws of the United States of America. But yet that's how little they think of these United States, that despite the fact that they were served notice and had the opportunity to be heard, they couldn't even be bothered to show up in court. But I think that emphasizes their amount of culpability, their degree of culpability, because they didn't offer a scintilla of evidence to mitigate or defend themselves against these claims. They know what they did was wrong, and now they're going to pay.
To your knowledge, General, is there are other states has anyone filed something like this?
Yeah, Mississippi has pursued a similar action. And again, the Missouri suit is the first one to get all the way to a judgment. And so again, there's some precedential impact there from the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals that I think is instructive on how to raise these claims, and specifically to use the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act as the vehicle to redress these grievances. And so we blazed a trail for others to follow, and anticipate that others will do so. $24 billion is a lot to the state of Missouri. It's probably not a lot to the Chinese Communist government. But if you cobble together other states with similar judgments, we will really make an impact here and make China understand that when they do business and own assets in the United States of America, they're going to be subject to our laws.